We just started. Sorry about
It's all right. I'll talk to you. Yeah, you're live now. So
that. Yeah,
just
I
when
guess
you're
start
finished,
from the
just
beginning.
stop.
Yeah, no, because you know what? Because it's their schedule, so I was like, it's just gonna go by itself. But obviously, it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and that was live. Sorry about that. Okay, so we'll go back to Villa then. So number one, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow in terms of predictions?
Well, do
So
I
are we
think it's going to
talking?
happen? I'd like to think that we'll win this game. Villa obviously not really the side that you would want to underestimate. I mean, we did lose to them last season at home. Big up to Reggie, by the way, for that absolute banger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're in good form, and I don't think there's any reason to think that we do have this game to play for. And it's just really down to what sort of starting 11 Conte is going to do. Is he going to do the same thing that he did to Burnley, saying, "Oh well, my team thrashed these guys, so I'll keep the team as it is," or will he change something? Maybe particularly our back five might need a few adjustments. Well, I say back five, it's more really, and we spoke about this before we went live, it's the left wing backs really. Like, who do you go for?
Yeah, I mean, personally, for me, I'll probably go Reguilon.
Yeah,
I'll maintain that
too.
Because I just think Sessegnon. I don't know if you feel this way as well, but when I watch him, he feels like he's playing within himself. So he just looks scared. To me, he just looks really scared.
Okay, yeah. He's scared to take his man on, yeah. Like, we've seen that for years with Sessegnon the second he came to Spurs. I don't know. I think for Sessegnon, really, this is like his first ever season for him, really. Like, it feels like that. And for us fans, it feels like that too. Because, the way he played against Liverpool, really, he was a different man. Never mind a different player. The guy was a different man. Like, he had balls of steel. Didn't give a fuck who he was coming up against. Also. Sure, sorry, I probably shouldn't swear.
That's fine. No, I've already got it sorted. Don't worry.
Don't want job applications to view me swearing on a live stream. But yeah, he was fearless. He's coming up against one of the best players in the world, and he was one of the best players on that pitch, really. A lot of them were, but Sessegnon particularly for his redemption of how he was playing as a wing back. So I think really it's just going to be a bit of a hit and miss in terms of there'll be some games where he'll perform superb, and then other games will be back to the old Sessegnon again.
I think, like, when I watch him, it's like you can see that he just I don't know. I have to borrow Mourinho's words, right? He needs the player to explode and sort of thing. Is that I feel like when I watch him play and when we signed him, I kind of expected just a lot more because everyone kept comparing him to Danny Rose. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get this player who's going to come and then just get the ball and just skin past people. And then he joins, and I'm like, there's this guy who's just getting the ball, checking back, passing it back, checking back. He seems like scared to like put the ball and run. Like, I know he's had injuries, but like I feel like with Sessegnon, I just expect a lot more. And then we're sort of getting it a bit under Conte, but like I feel like he can go up another level.
I think it's just really Conte's style of play that's helping Sessegnon thrive a bit more. I mean,
there's a wing back.
It's counter attacking, but you also essentially passing your way around, as much as it sounds like a game of FIFA. Like the triangular passing, and as a wing back, that will be the easiest sort of job for you to just run down the wing and retain possession of that ball. So it might just be that Conte's the right manager to make Sessegnon thrive a bit more, if that makes sense.
I mean, like him and Reguilon, I don't think there's too much between them. I think the reason people are against Reguilon, from what I can see on Twitter at least, is that people say he's just like wasteful with his chances and his crossing. And like for me, I don't really see it as much. He's probably less clinical, maybe like a bit.
Yeah.
But like with me with Reguilon, I just think he's more of an established player in the sense that he's got more European experience. He's got more just experience in general. With Sessegnon, obviously, he came from the Championship. He's sort of like, he seems like when I'm watching, like I say, he seems a bit like he's worried or scared or something. I don't know what way to describe it, but like with Reguilon, because he's established, you kind of know what you're going to get, in a sense. But personally, do you understand this hate on Twitter for Reguilon? Because I'm still trying to understand it myself.
I don't understand half the things Spurs Twitter say to me. So, I mean, there's always hate for there's always like either absolute praise or absolute hate. There's like no in
between.
Yeah, I mean, Honestly, it pisses me. I mean, I'm like really not that much of a fan of Emerson Royale, but I'm not going to like reply to a tweet where he's just bigging up the club and then just like that sort of stuff. Like that's just not something I'd do. I'll say my criticism for when I'm watching the live play, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough. So with Doherty then, like, do you think his change is more to do with positionally, or do you think it's actually like Conte?
I'd say it's like more confidence. He's actually he's actually getting himself stuck in and making some contributions. Listen, I'm not fully convinced with Doherty still because, if we do get top four, I'm still sticking by to what I say. Some
new right back.
Some fans will say, top four, so clearly these players are good enough. No, I'm not saying that at all because nowadays in the Prem, you don't need the same amount of points, like let's say when it was between Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal to get top four. It requires a bit less. You can get away with a few things, I would say, but in order to like create a different new philosophy and a new plan, as Pochettino loved to say, we do need to see a lot of changes. And for one thing for sure is that this mediocrity that's overstayed its welcome in the club, that's got to go, in my opinion.
I think with Doherty,
sorry. What I was saying because I knew I waffled there a bit, but
that's fine.
Doherty's been there for 2 years now, and if you want to like rally it up to a percentage of what good we've actually seen of Doherty, I mean, so far I'd probably have to say, to be very generous, maybe 20%. And I mean, we need the consistency and to start off fresh. I don't mind keeping hold of Doherty as a squad player. Like I'm fine. I'm fine with that. But we cannot rely on what we've seen for the majority of the game and then think that for a few games they play different, they're a new player and they deserve to play for the club. Because it doesn't work like that in my book.
No. I think like for me with Doherty I think people kind of need to understand he's a different kind of fullback. Because he's not the kind of fullback to like get the ball like Kyle Walker, for example, and just go past players and put a cross in. He's almost like doing runs off of, obviously not overlaps as such all the time, because he tends to come inside sometimes. But he sort of like needs to be in the right place at the right time rather than say someone who's going to create a chance in a sense. Because obviously he's been scoring goals and he was doing it at Wolves as well.
Yeah.
But he's not exactly the kind of player who everyone's going to want a wing back like Kyle Walker. Really, let's be honest, or like Trent Arnold, that sort of ilk, right? But we're not going to get that from Doherty, and people, I think, kind of need to understand that in some ways, because I'm not saying he's like the best fullback we can get and the best fullback in the world or anything, but like he does offer something a bit different in that sense. And at Wolves, obviously, he was playing in that position anyway. And when I felt like when he came to Tottenham, because we went to a back four under Mourinho, it didn't really help him at all. And then we got obviously Nuno for that period, which was just a mess.
Yeah.
I feel like he's sort of given us, in some ways, a bad end of the stick because of these managers. And then finally Conte comes in, he plays him as a wing back eventually. I know that took time itself anyway. And then, we're finally seen something.
Yeah, I mean,
with Emerson, for Emerson, it's like a no hope, because I've watched Emerson play, and I think for him, I find he comes inside too much, and Conte obviously wants his wing backs, to be on the touchline, like properly on the touchline.
Oh, do you know what? With Emerson, it's so irritating because
he can't cross as well.
He can't. No, this is the thing though. Like he's so wobbly when he goes forward, like especially on the ball, like. And the most annoying thing is his recovery of the ball isn't actually that bad, but then he loses it again. Like, do you know what I mean? Like I've seen this before from him. It's like, listen, I know it's never easy to like go to a new league and then play a position that's not even your position. Reverse that with Doherty. He is a wing back, whereas Emerson is just purely a fullback. But some players just can't be helped, and you don't have to keep hold of someone and give them another chance. You know what I mean?
Like with Emerson, do you think he was signed as a fullback, and then because of the manager change, he's just suffered, say, like even more, or do you just think he's a bad player? Because from what I've seen, I don't think he's that great of a player, and I can only recall like one game where I thought he was, like really good.
It's the Crystal Palace one, I'm assuming.
Is it? Maybe it's that one, yeah. But
No,
there was
well,
one
he
game
did-
when I
he
thought,
did
oh,
score
this
the
guy's
other day,
good. And
He
then,
did score the other day too, to be fair.
yeah. I don't think it was even that game. I'm trying to remember what game it was, but there was one game, I'd have to look back, where I thought, oh, this guy's really good. But then it was only one game out of like how many he's played, like 20, 30 now, let's say.
It was
And
probably
it's
the
like,
game after Crystal Palace, I'd say. Because I know, yeah,
like,
he
like when I watch him, I don't think he's a wing back. I don't think he has the attributes to be a wing back.
No.
Even his pace, I don't think he's like fast enough from what I've seen for him to make it.
I don't know what he is, to be honest, because you say that with pace as well. He might have been better to play a park the bus system under Mourinho, let's say. I don't know. He's just like you've said to yourself. He doesn't really offer much, and Barcelona were also very baffled with
well, we signed it
for the fee of what we signed him for.
Yeah.
So you just have to like give your head a scratch and think that maybe he's just like just not the wing back. Full stop.
Mm. A lot of people also saying that we should try him at right centre half. Like, would that work for you, or is it just another failed experiment?
This is it's not worth the experiment at this stage.
Yeah,
I mean, not.
I mean, from what I've read, he's probably going to be one of the first players to be sold in the summer anyway, so it's not really like an issue.
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, if he gets sold, he gets sold. I will obviously still wish him the best because I know he hasn't had it very easy, and he's taken a lot of the brunt from fans.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pretend that. Well, I said in his stream that I don't back him, so I'm all good. So, yeah, I mean, he will end up probably being the first player to be sold. There's no question of that. And for how much, I don't know. If we can get even 20 million for him, then I'd be all right, we've done something all right then.
So, like, top four, just in general now, do you think we're going to make it, or do you think we'll miss out?
Honestly, I've got nothing to say to it. I might as well just say, end this stream now, because all I'm going to say is I don't know, because I don't want to get my hopes up. Well, I think that this is going to be the toughest top four race since, I don't know. I can't even compare it. That's the thing. Other times when Arsenal were very close to beating us at fourth spot, we were always ahead of them anyway. But they've only got a game in hand now, I think. And one of them is a tough. And they also do have to play Chelsea as well, which, they could actually win that because Chelsea are in bad form. But I think this is the sort of thing that can really test a player's mentality fully. And if we get top four, it's because Conte has managed to be a magic maker with these players, magically just change these players, change their mentality and everything. Don't forget, we've also got to play Liverpool. So really, this is just all down to the players. But I just generally do not. I don't even want to make a prediction on this because I'm really nervous for this. I've never felt so. Normally, finishing above Arsenal, especially last season, I just didn't care as much. But right now, it's just different because all this Arteta bollocks and this Emil Smith and Thomas Partey, CCC, all that stuff. I just love humbling Gooners. It's something. It's a gift that just keeps giving, and we cannot be embarrassed by this lot, honestly.
But for me, I do think we're kind of favourites now because of the fixture list, and I think the Arsenal game. If we beat Arsenal, for me, I don't see us getting anything at Anfield because I just don't see it. Even if we play well, I just don't see it. And then I think we'll have to beat Arsenal, but to be in it anyway. It will be a must-win game after losing to Liverpool. So that's why I think it's going to go.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm skeptical about this is because throughout this season, things just felt too good to be true. Especially after, we beat Man City, but then we lose to Burnley. So, and look, don't forget as well, we're going to be playing Leicester, who might not be in good form, but on their day, we're the sort of team that will be this is our bogey, even though we beat them this season. So, I just feel like we shouldn't underestimate our list of fixtures because a lot of these teams have got something to play for still. So, even, you know, Arsenal as well, to play Arsenal at this stage of the season as well, when we could have played them had they not, you know, had their whole COVID thing. It's just like everything's like been put to script, really.
Yeah, I mean, like with Arsenal, I think with them, it's just more the fact that you just don't know what you're going to get with them either. I think it's like, well, some games they just look so good, and other games they just look so bad, like the other night. So you just don't really know. And in some ways, I would say that with Tottenham, but I think now that we've broken the win-loss malarkey, I feel like we kind of got the momentum with us.
We got the momentum so far. That's the thing. This is the thing about it. It's so far. You know, you don't know what's going to happen in the next game. We don't know how it's going to turn out with Villa. You know, they might not have Jack Grealish and they might have sacked their manager, but you know, they're a team. I'd say they're a team of individuals, and you cannot let them individuals have their moment. If we play as a team and continue to how we have counter-attacked and passed the ball around, then we can beat Villa. But, you know, you let players like Coutinho, for example, have their moment to shine, then they are not going to miss that opportunity. So I feel like Villa's just that team you can't underestimate for that reason of what I just said. And we've got to take every game as it comes.
Yep, one game at a time.
Yeah.
So who would you think is like Villa's biggest danger man tomorrow? Because Danny Ings, I've heard, is back, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So Coutinho, obviously.
Ollie Watkins does scare me as well a bit. I don't know. I don't know if, to be honest, I don't even know what is. I mean, I'm guessing he's playing tomorrow, isn't he, Ollie Watkins?
Or yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's one, because I've seen this guy at Brentford, and that guy's a clinical finisher. You know, I've been to see him at Brentford before, and you know, you don't want to underestimate him. Danny Ings being back as well. Okay. I feel like their defense, you know, we could carve their defense open a bit. We just need we need the middle to like hold the ground and just contribute defensively as well. That's how I'd imagine this sort of game would plan out, if that makes sense. Obviously, of course, their goalkeeper as well. I mean, he's had his bad form, I think, at one point, but he's still a very decent goalkeeper, good shot stopper, this Martinez fella. So you can't, obviously, we've got to take our chances when we get them as well. And, you know, I don't know, they're playing under a young
Gerrard, in it,
manager, Stevie Gerrard. So, you know, I'm sure Gerrard isn't really a mug to mess around with, and they've got their own plans for this game too, but we've just got to make our plans louder.
So like for me, I guess, like I think Coutinho is probably the biggest danger because he plays in the pockets.
Yeah.
And I think because of the formation we play, we're either gonna have to like double or triple up on him or something, which is probably going to draw us probably more inside, like not more compact, is probably not the right word, but like very narrow. I think if we're going to have combat him, and I think it will probably cause us more problems.
Yeah.
And I think they'll probably go with, I mean, they might change it, but normally they play with a 4, right? Don't they, Villa?
I believe so, yeah. They've got Tyrone Mings, and who's the other guy? I forgot his name. Yeah, have a look, because I'm looking right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's important right now, but so like, I think with them, if they play a 4, I think it actually causes more problems than if they go with a 5, because I think Coutinho probably have a bit more freedom to play in the pockets.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think they'll probably still leave Watkins and Mings, or just Ings, sorry, not Mings, or one of them up top, or maybe both. Even. Yeah. And I don't like. For me, I don't know whether this game was going to play in our hands or not, because Villa are kind of sort of. I'm not saying they are a counter-attacking team, but I can see them playing like that against us tomorrow.
They'll have their moments to counter-attack, probably. That's for sure. Like in any other game, but
because for me, my issue is that when teams that get at us, we have a lot more joy because we'll just hit them on the counter with Son and Kane and Kulusevski. But then with some like Villa, they're just going to sit back and just give us the ball, and we'll sit there for like an hour trying to break them down. And then, on the break, Coutinho plays a ball and they score a goal or something. Like, how do you see it panning out? Do you think it will be in control, or do you think they'll be in control, or do you think it'll be like even? Or
well, it's normally never easy playing away.
Yeah.
I'd say it would just be like one of them typical ways to start an away game where you're always going to see the home team just, dominate first until we'll choose our moments. And then, the second we start dominating, it might maybe not intimidate the team, but get them more aware to sit back and concentrate on the likes of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. So that's how I would see it. And then from that point onwards, you just don't know what happens next. Like that's the way I always predict away games. So, I'm like, I see, okay, yeah, of course they're going to dominate first, and then just waiting for your moment to then finally start dominating back. So,
like I think we'll win, but I think it'll be a lot tougher game than people think.
Yeah,
because I can see Villa scoring personally.
Yeah.
Which means we're going to have to score at least 2, which is why I fancy like a 3-2 or something like that, because it's like, well, I can see him scoring at least once, maybe even twice, but then I can see us winning because I just think we'll have enough quality just to see it through. But it'll be one of those like dramatic games, probably, like back and forth.
No, I get that. I'm just actually having a look at their form, Aston Villa's fixtures. I know that they lost to Newcastle and they drew with Leeds. They have. I mean, they've not been in good form, to be fair. Because of course, they lost 2-1 to Wolves as well. They lost to West Ham. They beat Leeds 3-0, and they lost to Arsenal. So they're a bit of a roller coaster club themselves, really. Like 1 minute they're in good form, winning some games, and the Nets they're like losing a couple of games here and there. So I don't know. I can't see why we can't give it a go. But like you said, it's Tottenham. So
who knows what's going to happen? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So in terms of signings, then, so who do you think has more of an impact, Bentancur or Kulusevski?
That's a difficult one, because Bentancur's doing that sort of role, which isn't really like looked on
noticeable. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Because Bentancur, like there was someone on football Twitter that said Bentancur's like a busking shark, has his mouth wide open, taking like a busking shark. Because what they do is those vegetarian sharks are like keep open and eat plankton, but like consistently, and that's like what he's been doing, just like prowling around from behind consistently, winning possession and intercepting and keeping us on top. So I'd have to say Kulusevski, because we've seen Dele Alli on a decline for years, and we're like saying, oh, where's this player that assists? Where is he? And then Kulusevski comes in. So I'm gonna have to say Kulusevski, but Bentancur should be taking very similar levels of praise of impact that he's made for this team.
I mean, I think with Bentancur, for me, he's given us sort of like a balance in midfield.
Yeah.
Because now Højbjerg's just doing his dustbin man work, as people like to say.
Yeah.
And Bentancur's just like running the game sort of thing. But I think with Kulusevski, like, I still myself, like, do you think he's a winger? Do you think he's an attacking midfielder? Like, what is he? Because I can't really work it out. Like, I know he's playing as a in the 3, but it's like, well, I don't think he's fast enough for me to be like an out-and-out winger. But I don't think he's not really like creative enough to be like a proper cam, like a number 10. So he's probably playing the position he should be playing in the 3, like just inside. But like I can't really like. Is there an ex-Spurs player that reminds you of him at all? Is there an ex-Spurs player that reminds you of him at all? Because I've been trying to work that out myself. Like, is there anyone?
Yeah, no, I was going to say I can't ever recall to see someone play similar like that. I don't know. I think end of the day, what can help him play as a wing is the fact that he can cross the ball, and wingers do cross into the box. And I feel like as well that what makes him a cam is the fact of being able to find the spaces and be able to slot the ball to an attacking player. So I think that combination just works out fine for him, and he can interchange whether he wants to play as a winger or playing more central. So I don't know, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And the way he's playing at the moment, I'd say whatever position that is, just keep doing that.
Because I know this is a really weird take, but his style of play kind of reminds me a bit of Suarez. I don't know why. Like, sort of just the way he like lies with the ball, and Suarez likes to play in those little like tight spaces.
Yeah.
Now Kulusevski, I find his biggest skill for me is like he'll get the ball in like a really tight space and like 3 defenders, and somehow he gets out of it. I don't know how, but like,
okay, I see
that. That's the most similar player I've seen.
Well, they're different players in different positions, but I guess you can still, pick out, especially to the build-up of a final third of what Suarez does, then maybe you can compare that to what Kulusevski.
I'm not saying obviously he's the same player, because Suarez is just insane.
No, he's a style Suarez.
But like, if we're talking about style
of play, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I guess you could say that. It's not really something I've ever thought of, though, which is quite interesting to hear from you in terms of that comparison. So I'll have to look at Kulu play again and try and remember how Suarez was playing in his last season in the Prem for Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't think
I remember he was doing that. I remember he was doing that, but
yeah.
To that comparison, though, that didn't really cross me, no.
Because this is like, for me, when I watch him, it's more the fact that he's not like a proper winger. So like, I can't pinpoint him and say, oh, he's like Lennon or something, or he's like, someone like that. Yeah. Or like Bale, because I don't think he has the pace for it. But then I wouldn't say he's a really out and out number 10, because I don't see him playing so centrally. Say someone like Van der Vaart used to play. Like with Suarez, I remember Suarez used to play like on the shoulder, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
And he used to play sort of wide. He used to play wide sometimes as well. It's more just the way he like runs with the ball. It's very similar. Maybe it's just me. And I don't think Kulusevski can score 30 goals this season. So, but like,
no, he can help contribute to goals. Don't know if it will be 30 of them at this stage of the season, but who knows for next season? I'd look forward to that.
Now, at the time, I was quite skeptical about the signings. Now, do you think they were Conte signings, or do you think they were just club signings? Or both? I don't know even.
Maybe both. I don't know. The fact that Paratrici has ties to Juventus, maybe that. But maybe also Conte was like, yeah, I do want those players, actually. I can make some good use of them. Maybe. I really don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Because like when it first happened, I was like, he probably just called them up because we were desperate to sign some players. So he was like, oh, give me Bentancur, give me Kulusevski.
Yeah.
And they turned up. But then like I'm reading stuff saying, oh, Bentancur obviously played with Conte, I think, under Juve, didn't he? Or am I wrong?
Bentancur, I'm not sure.
Did he play under Conte?
A while away that Conte.
Yeah. Because Bentancur's been there for like 4 years, I think. 5 years at Juve. Bentancur's been there for 4 years. 4
or 5 years ago, Chelsea. Conte was managing Chelsea, though.
So maybe he didn't play under him.
No, Bentancur's quite young, and it was a while.
24. Ago. Yeah,
it was a while ago when Conte was managing Juventus. I don't know. I could be wrong, but
yeah,
I liked with the signings. I was like very excited to see Bentancur play, because I was like, I've seen this guy playing Serie A before. He gets a lot of stick, but no one focuses on how good he is of actually retaining possession as a midfielder.
So did you see him play before he came then?
Yeah, a few games here and there. Yeah, I mean, I knew that Bentancur, and I've seen him play for Uruguay as well before, and a few Copa America games. So I thought that we were getting a good signing, but Kulusevski, I had no clue how he was going to turn out. But yeah, I mean, it took a while. It took only maybe 2 or 3 games, and then Kulusevski just started getting in good form for Spurs.
Because I have to admit, when I saw Kulusevski play the first time, I thought it reminded me of Lamella, so I was quite skeptical of how it was going to work out. Because I was like, oh no, he's slower than Lamella. We're fucked. but like over time, he sort of got better. So I was like, okay, this guy's actually a player. I think it was the City game for me that really turned my opinion on him, because I was like, shit, this guy is good.
He scored and assisted, didn't he? So
yeah, I mean, he's sort of I think he's sort of clinical, but he just brings us something completely different. And from what I heard, Conte wanted him at Inter. At least that's what I keep getting told on Twitter. So maybe he was a Conte signing. And another thing I thought of was obviously Romero joined under. Was Nuno our manager when Romero joined? Do you remember?
What, centre back Romero?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or did we not have? We did not have a manager then.
Oh, are you talking about that period of when we didn't have a manager for 70 days?
Yeah. Was Romero joined without a manager?
You know what? I think it's possible he may have joined without. Romero might have signed for Spurs before Nuno did.
Yeah, because do you think Romero and those summer signings were signed with a view of, say, like someone like Conte coming in? Because obviously Conte's just chuck Romero straight in as soon as he come back, basically.
Well, it's very possible. I mean, the fact that Paratrisci is Italian and used to work at Serie A, or for a Serie A club, rather. Yeah, I think it's possible that Paratrisci was playing the manager until a manager would walk in. Whether it was any involvement or correlation with Conte, that remains to be a conspiracy.
Yeah. Because there was talk in the summer that we were going to get Conte for a period. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I remember.
And then obviously Levy wouldn't pay for his coaches or something, so that fell through. I don't even remember that. yeah, I know.
Good time. Yeah, that was very annoying. Especially as I don't think this was too long after we had a protest, and that was when me and you first.
First met. Yeah.
And then this is like kind of our message of, well, this is why we protest, and this is why some of us try to give a shit, but then you turn up on the day and there's like hardly anyone there,
and people like drinking out of cans, singing, getting drunk outside Hotspur Way. That's what I remember.
Christ, yeah. I remember good old Stel was with us, and you've seen him on Twitter before. You know, anything he doesn't like, he'll voice it, and of course, he really didn't like what he saw.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like for me, it became sort of like a good social thing because I met people, obviously, like you.
Yeah,
but I met people. I was like, oh, I know this person off like Twitter. Oh, because I'm in an Enoch out like WhatsApp group, so. I met some of those people that I've been chatting to for like years.
Yeah.
At that protest, but then after that protest, now, like, do you think these protests that people are doing before games are they making an impact or not? I guess not at the moment, but do you think they're making an impact or not? Because I haven't been. I have to confess, I haven't actually been to one since the first one. No, I didn't even go to deadline day either.
Yeah, deadline day was a bit of a strange one, really. Not because of the protesters that were there, because I've got full respect for them. I mean, big up Brian Daigle, who went there and protested. He's a man of his words, and people can say whatever.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, every day. Not our protests, no, but a stadium filled of boos at Nuno for like subbing off Lucas and bringing on Gio, I think it was.
Bergwijn, I think it was.
Bergwijn, that was it. Sorry, yeah. That level of protest will work, and it's only easy that can work if it happens during a game, because it was quite clear,
they weren't happy. Yeah,
confirmed to Levy, they're not happy, and quite frankly, why should I be happy?
So do you think Levy brought in Conte? Because I've always had these conspiracy theories myself, but do you think he brought in Conte because he thought, I need to appease the fans? Or do you think he brought in Conte because he thought, Nuno ain't going to work out, so...
Should have gone for my first plan originally.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Levy's a funny one. He's got some sort of thing in his mind where, he deep down obviously does want a club to succeed, but he's not going to put in, but he just feels like, this commitment of investing X amount of money isn't going to work. But if I just basically bring in a great manager, pay him like what a big club would pay wages to this sort of manager, but just don't do anything else, then that will sort it. He did that with Mourinho. It didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think it's just more... I think it's more with that, but he hasn't, I don't think what Levy's realised is that he hasn't hired a yes man. He's hired the complete opposite. He's someone who will literally speak out against you.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel maybe a little bit, not confident or determined something will get done in the summer, but we might actually see some efforts done, and we could actually get a better rate of signing players that we were
the manager wants.
Yeah, I don't want the manager wants. Exactly. So that's why I think really Levy signed Conte, but maybe Conte might be pulling the strings there a bit, and Levy will for once sit down and let the manager do the speaking, do the talking.
Because for me with Conte, it's almost like I don't think Levy understands football, so I think he's like, oh, all the fans are singing my name, Levy out. I don't remember that game, obviously. Levy out, Levy out, Levy out. For once, I heard it in the stadium. For once. And then he was like, oh, shit, I have to get rid of Nuno and put a new manager in. Otherwise, like my head's going to be on a stick by the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that too. That links to what I was saying. Like, well, there's something like, there's something he's got to do. Just do a quick task. And then, that would maybe silence a few critics and haters. But it doesn't work all the time, obviously, because even since having Conte, we've still been chanting Levy out.
I think for me, if we don't get this summer right, I think he's basically gone. I think Levy's basically gone.
Yeah.
Because I just don't think how anyone can defend him after that if the summer just goes to shit, basically. Like,
yeah. Don't know. We'll have to see. This I've got to go soon, but
sure, that's fine.
No. Let's end this with predictions. Like, how do you think this is going to go?
Okay, sure. All right. So, what do you predict tomorrow is going to be?
I think we could win 3-1. I'd say. I actually think, you know what? I think we'll score first. They'll equalise, but then we'll come back from this, and it will be game, set, match when the third goal comes in, and that's sort of 3-1.
So, in the 85th minute again, when we score the third goal in the 85th minute.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
that's what I'm predicting. I think it's going to be. I think Kane's due a bit of a goal. Missed out against Newcastle, so he'll score. Probably a brace, and then maybe either Son or Kulusevski. And I think I don't know, either Ings or Coutinho to score for Villa. I'd say if Ings is playing. If not,
it's like, for me, I think we're going to win like 3 or 4-2. Yeah. I think they'll score first. I fancy like Coutinho will probably get one. Your mate Watkins will probably get one.
My mate, yeah, he's not my mate.
I know you know what I'm trying to say, right? I think it'll be like Coutinho and then a Son goal on the break just before half-time, 1-1. And then they'll score again just after the half-time interval, Watkins header or something from a set piece, of course. And then we'll score in like the 70th, 75th and 80th minute or something. And then we'll win like 3-2, 4-2 and maybe grab one right at the end. Okay. I don't see it being like a very easy game personally. I think it's going to be
it's like definitely more exciting my prediction. Like, I'm all for that.
Yeah. I'd rather it was your one and we like 3-1. But I just don't see it being like that way because I just don't think Villa will roll over that easily. For me, like, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I can agree with that. I mean, I'd prefer to see a comfortable game, but you can't ever have it your way, especially if you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for, really. Just 3 points. Doesn't matter how, as long as it's there.
All right. Thanks for your time, Sam. Enjoy the game tomorrow and up the Spurs.
Up the Spurs.
So, take care. All right. Bye.